Hello. In this video, we're going to go through a basic overview of Eclipse. As you can see, I have it pinned down here in my toolbar, and I'm going to click on it. Now, I've opened this before, so I don't get a pop-up, but the first time you run this, you'll get a pop-up asking you about a workspace and where you want your programs to be stored. So the first time also you run this, you're going to get this overview screen that kind of pops up, and for me, I'm just going to get rid of it. And then we have here our main setup for Eclipse. Now, Eclipse is a powerful piece of, or a powerful programming tool. It's what we call an IDE, or an integrated development environment. There's far more here than what you will use. We're using this in part because it provides a lot of excellent support for programmers, as well as it's good to work with real pieces of software that people actually use in the industry. So we're going to start with our layout here. And the first thing we want to understand with Eclipse is that when we open Eclipse, it always works in one workspace. What you'll notice, if I come down here, you'll see two tabs. You see this Java EE. That's the Eclipse I'm working with. And this is the icon that's pinned to my toolbar that allows me to open and close Eclipse. If I click on it again, you'll see Eclipse open again, and then it will tell me that a workspace is in use or cannot be created. So it's going to ask me to choose a different one. So if I click OK here, it's going to ask me to make a new workspace. This is a little bit of something a little different from those of you that have worked with JCreator before, where you open JCreator, and while it was open, you could actually then access the various workspaces. We're just going to cancel this for now. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create a new project. So to do that, I go to File, New, and you'll see you have all different things along here. And we're just going to say, we're going to create a new project, and we're going to create specifically what's called a Java project. And I'm going to click Next. And now I'm going to put my project name is. My project's going to be reporting period 1 work. So what you can do is make a number of projects and group your work. During our course, I'll do a number of demonstration programs which you'll do with me, and I always suggest making something like, say, reporting period 1 demo. So you can always go here for your demonstration programs. You don't need to change any of this. If you're working with different types of Java, you can select this here, but in our case, we don't need to select that. We should be using Java 6, so we should see 1.6, and we don't need any of this information down here. We can hit Next. This is when we want to add various libraries to our program. In grade 12, this is an important window because this is where we can start adding in our grid world information, but at grade 11, we don't need any of this right now, so we just click Finish. So now it's going to ask if you want to open a certain type of perspective. Eclipse has a number of perspectives that are set up based on what type of programming you're doing. So if you're doing web programming, they have a web perspective with some various tools that are useful. We're doing Java, so we want a Java perspective. So we're going to click Yes here. So what you see up here, these are our perspectives. Right now we have a Java perspective and a Java EE perspective, and we don't need to distinguish between those right now. So here's our reporting period demo 1. So if we double click on this, we see there's our information. And what it actually does is sets it up like a file folder for us. So we want to make sure we connect where this information is stored on our computer. So if you come down to your Start button and you type in Explorer, and you do a Windows Explorer, and you'll get your Windows Explorer here, what we're going to do is navigate to this location. Your workspace is just called Workspace, provided you haven't changed it the first time you opened it. And so if you go into Documents, you'll see inside your Documents section, if I can look in here, we're going to try that once more. You'll notice that screen just disappeared. So we want to, just to recap, we want to figure out where any programs we create inside this, we want to be able to access them on our hard drive. And so we need to know where information is being stored. So if you click to your Start and you type in Windows Explorer, that's going to give you one of these windows here. And then you're going to go to the C drive, you're going to go to Users, you're going to go to your username, so in my case my username is pmiscu, and then you're going to see folder called Workspace. Now, just so you understand, I'm using a different workspace called Workspace Video, because any videos I make I put in here. So I'm going to go inside of there to demonstrate. And you'll see here, notice, reporting period 1 demo. This file folder matches with this project. So if I just readjust this a little bit here, and let's just do this, and let's make another new project. So I'm going to right-click new. I'm going to make a new Java project. Let's call it demo project. Remember, I don't need to change any of the information in here. And instead of hitting next, I can just hit finish, because that second window isn't important. You see this pop up over here? So this folder is associated with your project. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look. And one more thing, you can hit the arrows and it opens and closes it. The system libraries aren't important right now. What I'm interested in is this folder here called SRC. If I double click on it, you see there's nothing happens. So let's go over here to reporting period 1 demo, and then you'll see a couple folders in here. The SRC folder and the bin folder, these store the Java files that you're working with. So if I want to create a new Java file, what I do is I right click, I'm going to say new, and I'm going to create what's called a new class. And I'm going to call this Hello World. This is going to be my first program, let's say. Remember, the name of a class has to be capitalized. There can't be any spaces, and it must start with a letter. It cannot start with a number. We don't need to change any of the information up here. And this is going to be a main method, so I'm going to click public static void main. And then I'll click finish. So now it creates it, and we see this Hello World here. And let's minimize those. So here's my Hello World program. You can see that. So what's really important to understand is that there are two types of files. There's the .java file, which is what the programmer types in. So this information here is associated with the .java file. And when you compile a program, it changes the .java file into a .class file, which is machine code essentially, that the computer can understand. Eclipse sets up your information such that in the SRC folder it stores the .java file. In the bin folder it stores the .class file. This is a structure that's put in place for many reasons which really aren't important to us at this point, but it's important to know that when you create a file, it's always going to store the .java in the SRC folder. So if I ask you to submit this Hello World program, you would email me this file here. So just to finish up this video, let's make this a true Hello World program. So we're going to go system.out.println Hello World, and now I'm going to execute it. So to execute it, there's two ways you can do this. One is you can save it and then select run, and it runs it, and there's my Hello World down there. Or you can select debug, and debug is a way to test the program. People typically use debug when they're testing programs. It's important to know that if I do something like this, let's add a second line here, hello again. If I hit run now, it comes up and says save and launch. Always save resource before launching. Okay. And now it saves it before it runs it. I hope that's been helpful.